Welcome to Hangman Tarot. We're going to get started in just a minute. First, I want you to hit subscribe to Hangman Tarot. When you do this, you're going to click the bell. You'll a bit different. I'm not a celebrity. I just put it on the layout for the live. It just draws people in. So go. I'm going to explain to you, I'm going to do a tell-all. It's my first story tell. I'm so excited. Somebody told me to do this, so I decided, you know what, when we hit 1,000, I'll do a tell-all on why I named this channel Hanged Tarot. It's probably something that will affect all of you. It's probably something that definitely could change your perspective on a few things. So that's what I'm hoping anyway. I will get started here in just a minute. I'm just going to wait for a couple people. Just trying to wait for them as much as I can. They said that they were going to come in. So who knows? Who knows? We'll see, though. I'm trying to learn how to do everything. I got monetized officially, so I got my letter. So I was trying to make sure the live was set up all right. I don't even know what it looks like or if it's different even. I am going to get started with this tell-all. I'm going to explain to you why, again, I named this channel Hanged Man Tarot. It is extremely personal story. I can't even begin to explain the crossing of how much this actually I don't even know how to explain it. It's just I can look back on the situation and I'm like, holy fuck, there's so many things that resemble each other, or there's so many ties, or it's tied in completely, the name of this channel, into the reason that I am even sitting here today. So I am going to get started though. So my name is Jordan. I am Hangman Tarot. Welcome. I hope that you enjoy this story. I am just going to start by kind of going over the Hanged Man card. If you have any questions or anything, maybe wait till I'm glad that you guys hang out anyway. So thank you for that. I appreciate that very much. I know that tarot does not answer every single thing in the world. It doesn't tell you exactly what the future is going to hold. For me, it is all about intention, setting intentions, and connecting with each other. I really, really enjoy the artwork on the tarot cards. It's beautiful to me, the symbolism. So I did get into it about, oh my gosh, like almost 2 years ago, really. It's the artwork is what kind of stole me. And I really had a fascination with shuffling the cards and just like fascination with people understanding what they meant. And then I started practicing them with my friend Kate. Kate, shout, thank you so much for helping me with the tarot cards. She's the one who encouraged me to start my YouTube channel. So thank you. I appreciate you very, very much. I've had a lot of support from my kids. They've been very supportive through this also. I know that it doesn't tell you about the future necessarily. It doesn't I don't get into all the voodoo or the spiritual of it or the witch of it, or I'm just a regular human being who is unfortunately blessed with being an empath, and I can feel things and see things that I cannot explain. These aren't like weird, creepy things. They're just like shapes or colors, or I can feel textures. I don't know how to explain these types of things, and I never have been able to. Somebody told me I wasn't crazy one time. Somebody's like, "You're not an asshole. You just know what this person is holding behind those cards that they're holding. You know what's going on." And I'm like, okay, all right. So I grew up and I was alone a lot, and it taught me a lot of different things, but it also put me into a place where I had to protect myself when I was younger, when I was alone a lot. And I have come to realize that I don't have to be quiet about that either anymore. I was alone and I hated it. And that is just what it was when I was a little kid. And I continue to hate being alone and work on that. So anyway, I do want to get into this. This tarot is a huge tool for guidance. There's nothing else you can really say about tarot besides that, without fucking it up. But it's whether you get it done professionally or you're pulling from your own deck. When you come across the Hangman Tarot, you are going to see a card at first that kind of looks bad because it's, first of all, it's upside down. So you're kind of thinking somebody's stuck in a situation, or in my head, I was thinking that, people were seeing things upside down or weren't seeing things correctly, if that makes sense. But according to Michelle Welsh, she's a professional tarot reader and teacher. The meaning of the Hangman Tarot is a lot more than that. And out of all 78 cards in the traditional deck, the Hangman actually appears in the major arcana, if you're thinking the archetypes and major life events, as the 12th card. And Welch actually tells, like, when I was reading the story, she basically said the number 12 represents a psychological or spiritual seeking. So many of us actually see this card and we immediately are going to interpret it as like somebody being stuck in a situation once again, but it's depicted off of the human that is hanging upside down. The person that is hanging upside down is depicted on the card, and it actually originates from the story of the Norse god Odin. And he voluntarily bound himself upside down to the tree of life. The tree of life. I want you to remember that, okay? Tree of life. And he did this for 9 days without food or drinking anything to gain enlightenment, which is indicated by the halo over the human that is upside down. It indicates the halo over his head. So it comes right after the Justice card and before the Death card. So if you think about it, the Hanged Man is the ultimate waiting for the shoe to drop card. It's like the moment before that storm hits, the peace before, the chaos and the crazy. And it's important to note that this card isn't always bad. It's not always bad. It's not represented in that way at all. So a lot of people are like, oh my God, your card or your channel name's kind of creepy. And it's like, you have no fucking idea. Like, you have no idea how creepy it is. It's been a hot mess. Yeah. Since it comes before the Death card, which is inevitably a transformation, the Hanged Man represents a period of time in which you need to do the things that you need to do in order to make this huge shift or transformation in your life. And these are real things, like spiritual or not, connected or not, fake or not. Like, I don't give a shit who you are. We all change. We all shift. We all know that feeling of right before it happens. We can look back and be like, hell yeah, like a whole bunch of nothing. And then all of a sudden, bam, a whole bunch of shit. Like it changes you. It does. And it's important to remember that everyone's going to interpret, their tarot or their life in a different way. And some interpret it in a completely crazy, different, changed manner, or, something we may not have been caught up to. It's going to be interpreted that way. So that's why tarot readers are good. They're all aligned in the fact that you're going to get something from your tarot reader that aligns with you. You're going to get something from them. And there's a tarot reader that is needed for every level spiritually, every level humanly. Okay. And that's all I got to say about that. We are all needed and wanted. So I think that that's a beautiful piece of the puzzle. Hanged Man represents seeing things from a different perspective. So it can result in growth by letting go of old ways. It is the card of waiting, kind of like, in the lobby, just hanging out, waiting, to go in. And ultimately you have to surrender to the fact that you got to go into a doctor's office after you go to the lobby and you're waiting in there. You're like, I got to surrender. You just sit back, grab a magazine, right? Well, there's a catch to that, because not all of us do that in real life. Like, I panic in a doctor's office. I completely have to go into hangman mode and chill the fuck out, because I know when I go in that doctor's office, that doctor's going to tell me something that will change my entire fucking life, or it will change me and push me into further growing into a healthy individual. It just depends. And it could be a period as you're single. It could be a period or a transition in waiting before you meet another person. These things can happen with your job. You're unemployed and you're waiting. You're in transition. I have been in transition. I have been waiting. This whole time I've been working on my channel, I have been in transition, as far as being unemployed. I have. And it's crazy because that's the name of my channel. So again, it correlates throughout my entire fucking life. The symbol of the man that is actually making, he's hanging with his leg and it's crossed and they're upside down. It just means an eventual attachment. So since the card is waiting, when it's upright, it usually means that something is going to happen. So if you were to ask like a yes or no question, it's going to be a no or a not yet card, or take it as a sign to like have a little patience. It will happen. It will eventually come along. Okay. I never had to see any of your comments, girls and guys, or whoever's in here. Thank you. That I appreciate. Really? That's awesome. Okay. I am going to get to the best part. This is the tell all, okay? I'm just so appreciative of this moment, to be at this moment. And it will just keep progressing. But I do want to get into why this correlates so much. And I'm going to start with the year of 2011. My older brother actually ended his life in the year 2011, and it was during Suicide Awareness Month. And even though, I mean, it was bad enough, it was like Suicide Awareness Month, it's just like the sarcasm in that, like, is because of what he was and how he was very sarcastic, and it was just like so like him to do that, right? So basically, during the funeral, it was Suicide Week. I mean, it was bad. It was Suicide Awareness Week, and he committed suicide, and his name was Joshua Caleb Crouch. And my brother actually chose to end his life by hanging himself. Now, I'm not saying these things to shock you or to scare you, but I am saying them because they are the truth. And that is actually what happened to him. And for some reason, I've always wondered this, but for some reason, we have to be very silent about suicide and, the manner of death. I mean, but it's easy, to say Carol died of cardiac arrest, or, Betty down the road didn't make it through chemo. I mean, we have to be so quiet when people die, when they commit suicide. It's really easy for us to just say, like, this person died of this person died of this. But when it comes to this, it's just like, it's very strange to me that I cannot express how my brother actually died. And this was a thing that very much confused me. I mean, it still confuses me. It still puts me I'll say it and people are like, and I'm like, no, like, that's just how he died. Like, I don't know any other way to say it. So, my brother didn't die of cancer. He didn't die of, a heart attack. He hung himself. He tied something up, put it around his throat, and he hung himself. He committed suicide. And it was during Suicide Awareness Month. So I hate how quiet I have to be about his death, but this was his transition. This was his waiting period until something bigger happened for him. I didn't truly know that this channel and this name would actually tie together so closely with my brother's death, my waking, my transition as well into another life in the last 5 years. I have had no idea. In the last 5 years, I've been in transition. I have been changing. I have definitely, in the last 2 years, taken a step into a completely different life. So my brother's death, though, taught me a ton of things. But the one thing that I thought was important was the fact that it's okay to say how he died. It's okay to think about the silver linings in his death and what death can do for him and what death has done for me. Is that it was his, it was his story. And I don't take a claim on his story. I was just, expressing this to you all. And I took, a lot of pages from his story because they inspired me to be a different human. His death made me look a lot deeper. So he was stuck in it. He wasn't like stuck in a situation, and my family, we weren't stuck in a situation. And I can look on Hanged Man and know that's what the card indicates to me, that I don't have to be stuck because, I miss my brother terribly, in those moments of weeping and grief. I mean, for this situation, it was much more than that. And, it was just a huge pause for us all before all of our big events happened. And that is exactly what occurred. So we didn't know what the future had in store for us. My family and I didn't know after he, committed suicide and he hung himself. We had to take a minute. We had to pause. We had to know what it was. And we know that today we had to have the patience and the acceptance and surrender to that something had happened, something terrible. Yes, something terrible happened. And we didn't know when we were going to heal. We didn't know when we were going to stop fucking crying. We had no fucking clue that we would even get over it. I didn't know. I would go to yoga every day, and then another person would pass away and another person would pass away. And I would go to my yoga mat and I would cry into my yoga mat, just wondering what the fuck this all was. And this is just all kind of coming together for me, even in this moment, since 2011. So I had to surrender to changing my perspective so that we could change and we could grow and we could be free. But the key was acceptance. And that's, that the in-between death, his death, and now. So even in this moment, looking back, I was telling my friend how scary it would have been if I would have known my travels. So I'm super blessed that I didn't know, because I would have never surrendered to it. I would have, made it really difficult to change and grow. So I had no clue this was happening to me even at the time. But still to this day, I mean, just looking back a year ago, I'm so much cooler and smarter. I just have to say, like, every year just keeps getting better and better. And that's even saying that coming away from my brother's suicide. So, I mean, my changed perspective has changed my spiritual connection. It has changed my ideas and my thoughts on my family. My family, knowing that my brother's death meant something larger, and it was way large for me. And hopefully with that, I wake up every day hoping to kind of change somebody else's perspective. And that is the point of my yoga channel, not my yoga channel, excuse me. That was the point of my yoga teaching. And that is the point of this channel, is the fact that we can change and shift at any time, at every moment. So within my life, I hope that I am loud enough for you to hear, so that I can help to, shift or change or help somebody else push and grow. That's the point. Okay. But I'm hoping to be just a huge part of that. And I may not see it happen, but I just would like to know that I helped aid in it at all, even if it's just one day of seeing me, or just passing me along the street. I hope that, I can do a ripple out effect and affect people. Changing was to let go of kind of a tight grip that I thought I had on control. But the whole situation, looking back on the entire thing, I am well aware that my brother was my Hanged Man tarot card. Without even knowing at the time, I thought tarot cards, at that time were, scary, witch-like, and voodoo. I wasn't quite sure what they were. But I didn't know a thing about them. And I understand that his death changed my perception. It has made me grow, and it has made me change, and it has let me let go of that control and to stop suffering. And I didn't know which way to go. And that was okay. I didn't know that was okay. I didn't know it was okay to be at a crossroads and not fucking know what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing, but I think that I'll be okay. And I think that, so sorry. I don't mean to do that. I thought I had to be something perfect and not messed up or not cracked to like achieve life. And apparently the more broken you are, the better. Sometimes, you know what I mean? But my brother's death, it made me surrender. It made me accept all of the things that I didn't want to accept. And he was my Hangman Tarot, unfortunately, but fortunately. So he changed the course, I guess. So that is why I named this channel Hangman Tarot. It is in honor of my brother. I sat on the phone with my friend Kate. Shout out again, Kate. We sat on the phone. I'm like, what do I name this? What do I name this channel? And we, she's like, let's write some things down. And I still have the notebook. I still have it. And we just threw out names, and I'm like, Hangman Tarot, that would be so excellent, and she was very like particular about like, make sure it's Hanged Man Tarot and not the Hanged Man, because I kept saying the Hanged Man. I had no idea what I was doing. So thank you, Kate. She was such a great guidance in the beginning stages of this channel. It helped really push me through. She said, there's people out there for you, because I was like, nobody's going to watch me read tarot. Nobody's going to watch. It's going to be crazy. And she's like, there, you have people. And I was like, fine. That's why I did it. Thank you. Yes, life is an amazing journey. And that is the point of all of this, is that looking back, it very much all comes together. And with the Tree of Life, my brother actually had the Tree of Life tattooed on his arm. And then I actually have him and the Tree of Life tattooed back here. He's under the tree. But at the time, I didn't know that it would relate to Hanged Man Tarot card, but it does. It's has a huge connection, that Tree of Life. So it is a very strange life. A very strange life we lead, and then it all connects, and it's like, But it has been beautiful, and my brother was beautiful, and I know that when he died, the meaning of his death it became this beautiful thing for me. And so that's why I'm able to talk about my brother at the dinner table and discuss my kids' uncle and the way that he died, so that my children know that there was a loss there and he is missed, and to know that they're not alone either. In his death, though, in his hanging, that was his surrendering to something bigger and better. He was done on this earth, and I knew my entire childhood that he was special and he wouldn't be here for a long time. And my brother Jeremy, after Josh passed away, my brother Jeremy said to me, "I've always thought you were crazy." And I'm like, you have no idea how great that makes me feel. I was so happy because he was like, "You were right. Like you've always kind of known things." And I'm like, that's right. It made me feel much better. So that's the end. That's all I got for y'all. I'm so sorry I kind of lost it at the end here, but I'm so glad that you guys came in to check out the tell-all, and hopefully that you get a little bit of something from it. And I hope that you enjoyed the story and the connection and the interaction. I'm trying to do all of these things in the best way, but I've surrendered to the idea that YouTube is not perfect. This is not perfect, but we're trying. The striving for perfection, darling. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I have children to go walk with and physically be around and touch and love. So, you're so welcome. And again, I just want to express this one disclaimer at the very end of this, because it's super important. Again, this is why I, kind of push if I feel like anybody in the readings need to be told this. If you feel alone, reach out, and I will leave a number for suicide prevention. I do suicide prevention walks every year here in Wyoming. There's one in our town. It's something about not keeping the silence, though. I do know that, but it has been very helpful. It was very helpful. I remember the first walk I went on, I was terrified and I was sad and I felt even more alone, and I didn't understand why we were all standing there walking around for death. Like, I didn't get it then, but it's, been year after year after year I go, and I even made it in the paper. They did an article on me. I explained how different I look even from the first walk to the last. I'm different. And I can tell the people when they're coming in to do the suicide awareness walk, I can tell which ones have just gotten there and it's their first time versus people that have been there and have healed. And you can tell the difference. So there is healing and there's acceptance. You just have to really find meaning in that kind of thing. So hopefully I have helped aid in something. Again, if you need to reach out, please reach out. If those thoughts of being so alone, kind of consume you or take over, I'll put the number down below in the details, suicide prevention hotline. But you message me, I will talk to you all night if you need. Okay. Other than that, I'm going to get out of here. So share, like, and follow. Okay. And I hope that you enjoyed this. The upload will have some videos that pop up on it. Go ahead and check it out. Share all of these videos as much as you can. Let's scream at the very top of our lungs. Hanged Man Tarot. Again, my name is Jordan. I am Hanged Man Tarot. We will see you soon.